Hey, what's up everybody? It's Lyds, and we're back for some more Thronebreaker, and last time we took down a powerful sorcerer and golem, and actually had a surprise meeting with the leader of the Nilfgaardian army. We exchanged some pleasantries and may have talked some trash, but now we are on our way here through the rest of Edirn because, dare I say, we are getting fairly close to the end of the area here. Still have this eastern or northeasternmost section, and we do have this one remaining point of interest back here that we tried out on a few occasions previously, but just couldn't quite make it work. It was one of the ones with a bunch of neckers in it, similar to one of the encounters that we had trouble with very early on down here, I think, but perhaps just a little bit stronger cards that our opponent was using. Now that we have at least made some improvements to our deck, including adding Isbel, might not be the worst idea in the world to give this a shot. Otherwise, I assume we still have some time to explore the remainder of this area before we're at the very end and it's, final main quest or this, and, it's our last opportunity to do it. So let's maybe press a little bit onward here and just see if there's anything in this immediate vicinity, because we basically just crossed this bridge and had an unexpected encounter with that sorcerer. But there may very well be more over here.
As if nobody lifted a finger against the Nilfgaardians.
King surely ordered all his armies to return to Aldersburg, took cover behind its walls.
I do not wish to dismay, but after what we saw at Rossburg...
Enough doomsaying, Gascon.
I mean, Gascon may be right about that. Yes, there is a lot of destruction here, and it seems as though others are theorizing that that may be an indication that all the Edirnian forces just turned and fled, but I don't know. It has not been great thus far for the Edirnians. I see a person over there. Numerous people, in fact. The thing that strikes me about them is that they're wearing red and plate mail, but those are not the Nilfgaardian colors, so are those perhaps Edirnians? I don't know. That's interesting. A few more resources here, which, we spent a whole lot recently, but we're actually doing kind of okay. We're not completely broke right now. And hold on, those are Nilfgaardians. At least that guy is. You can see the battle indicator there, and we have a notice board here giving us more information. Okay, that puzzle is probably where those people were that I was talking about before, the ones who did not appear to be wearing Nilfgaardian colors. But then, here's the battle right next to us. New point of interest there, and there. And this could very well be the last set of things before the very end of Edirn, which I assume is the case with this main quest icon over there. So, alright. Let's also make a point of actually activating that fast travel point while we're at it. Okay. And obviously, it does make it a little more convenient if we are to try to hop back and forth between this area where we are currently in and this area with this point of interest. Although, tell you the truth, this bridge does connect. So we may not even need to fast travel. We could potentially either do this encounter or just generally do some stuff over here and eventually make our way down to this puzzle, this point of interest, and cross the bridge and go this way to this point of interest. That's actually kind of an intriguing prospect. I do like that idea. Obviously, there's this battle right next to us, and I suppose it might make the most sense for us to try this one out. It does seem like this is a bit of a fortified location to a lesser extent. Palisades blocking it off, so let's see what the Nilfgaardians have in store for us here. Okay, Imperial Reconnaissance. Some spies, perhaps. Readying herself for her next clash with Nilfgaardian forces, Meve recalled lessons she received as a young girl about the continent's geography. Huh. My young lady, the Nilfgaardian Empire's domain is large enough to contain the kingdom of Lyria not once, not twice, but 30 times over, Protruder once explained. That might explain why Nilfgaard can just come trouncing on in here and try to crush the entirety of seemingly all the Northern Realms. Because, well, Lyria is just a tiny little mouse in comparison to the humongous empire that is Nilfgaard. 30, the Queen sighed. How can I hope to defeat this Colossus? Is such a feat even possible? That's the question we have to be asking ourselves here. We have beaten Nilfgaard in small battles, but on full-scale war when their army seems to be never-ending, that's perhaps a different question. It is a standard battle, so no special rules here, or, well, at least doesn't seem to be the case. In fact, a full 3 rounds, perhaps? It's been a very long time since we had an actual 3-round battle. And this may very well be the first time that we've actually seen Isbel in our hand. So boost allies at random by the total damage taken during this battle. Oh, I'm not sure I realized this before, but it sounds like that means that it's going to distribute those boosts across all of our units randomly. So it's not as if we're just dumping a whole ton of boosts on one single unit. Also, Xavier is good. This is an order. Ooh. Ooh, I like this combo a lot. We've typically been using Xavier combined with Rayla, but Isbel has an extremely powerful order that could be just as good, if not better, than Rayla's. Okay, so that's intriguing. Then, I guess the Alchemist post Isbel could be an interesting play, potentially, if one specific unit does get a ton of boost from Isbel. Use that to have another unit to get just as big. Then, I'm not sure we're going to want all these Stray's cavalries. Actually, before we go into the specifics, though, what can we learn about what we're going up against here with the Nilfgaardians? Damage enemy by the number of your allied units. Okay, so they have at least a fair bit of damage. The total damage taken. Not the number of damage units, the value of damage taken. So I would think Isbel would be a pretty nice counter to that then, although at just 3 power, she is a little bit vulnerable. So gotta be a little bit careful about that. Okay. That means Martyr and Bear should be helpful too. Alzur's Thunder, this is also new to us. Damage unit by 10, and units adjacent to it by 5. I mean, just big chunk of damage for us. So I don't know if this many Stray's Cavalry is going to be the right idea. Knickers is not really a card we want in hand. Reynard. Yeah. For Xavier. And for Isbel. Means we can use Isbel a bazillion times now. But remember, these redraws, I believe they do not refresh in between rounds. Again, it's just been so long since we actually had a 3-round match that does take a little bit of a reminder. I think we'll swap this out and then we'll leave it at that. Okay. I think we stick with this, and that way we have a few redraws remaining. The next round, once we need it.
Important lesson in this, but what?
Okay, so Resilience is not good for us, because that means he'll stay on the board in between rounds, and that is not the kind of thing that we want to see. So, in that case, thinking we may go for, I mean, Alzur's Thunder could remove it altogether right now. That's perhaps a little overkill at this stage. So what I'm thinking is we go Stray's Cavalry. Is there any way you can get stronger before that happens after 2 allies appear? I mean, it's possible. They have a way of getting multiple allies down simultaneously. With our leader ability as well, hold on. This is 4 damage, which will get you down to a 4. Which means that you could be the secondary damage recipient of Alzur's Thunder and still go down once they play a card next to you on their next turn. So think what we'll do is we'll go Cavalry here. Damage still may be overkill, to be honest. But I want to see what their next play is.
102, 103.
Really wanted you to play those next to each other. Really wanted you to play those next to each other. Yeah. So, well, tell you what, we didn't use our leader ability, but we certainly could now. And if we do that, we'll hit them both. And Slinger is almost enough. With the Mark, it would be enough to get rid of you, but isn't Mark going to trigger at the end of their turn? Which means that they will get that 6 boost and resilience before the damage kicks in which case it will survive. I think that's the case, but we may need to go that route. Either way.
Have it the white of an eye from half a league away.
Rather not damage our own unit. Scepter of Storms. We could use this. We could use that.
Wise choice.
Okay, damage enemy by 2 whenever an ally appears, gain a charge. So, many of the Nilfgaardian cards that we've seen before, yes. However, I think pretty sweet that we were able to shut down what would have been perhaps their best carryover cards. Early on, they would have gained a lot of value if they'd stayed on board. So now, I mean, we could get another cavalry down here. Obviously, we're still in the lead. So it's what? We have, still have 8 cards versus their 7. We need to play at least one more card, because I think this is a question I was asking ourselves the last time that we were in a 3-round match. Do we still draw 3 cards in between rounds in Thronebreaker? Or is that only in multiplayer? I think it still happens in Thronebreaker, which means, yes, we definitely want to have at least one more card played in this round so we draw back up to our full 10. So I was going to say, we're still in the lead, and we have one more card than our opponent right now, which generally is a sign that it's not a bad time to pass, because that way you could permanently gain card advantage in the match. But I think we do need to play one more card here. So let's go with another cavalry, and it gives us a little bit of flexibility. A little bit of flexibility. Some long-term value, if this round does seem like we want to make it go longer. Ooh, but yeah, I don't love charges you got there. Yeah, I also am not a big fan of how they keep on playing cards in different rows, which is making Alzur's Thunder much tougher to pull off. You know, we could, for what it's worth. This is not a bad time for Martyr and Bear. It would shut down the Mark damage from that, at least from this one cavalry. I believe we have determined that the damage from multiple cavalries, even if there's only a single mark on an enemy, that damage does stack. So we'd still have 1 damage per turn, but I think we're looking for what is basically a point slam here with Martyr and Bear, and it turns into, what, a 22, making this a 21-point play? It's a lot. Yeah. Is it enough, is my question. If we do that, Sadine's power equals the unit on its left. I would love to have that flexibility to turn you into a bear and then use Alchemist to make another 22-point bear, but we've messed this up. The simple question of right versus left with the Alchemist card has messed us up royally on at least 2 occasions. So I would like to not make that mistake here. Sadine's power equals the unit on its left. So, yeah, that means we would want to have a weak card on this side of the bear, which we do not currently have. So that would make it impossible to make Alchemist work unless we play another card and then do Alchemist, which is probably more cards than we would like to play in this round. So I think we just do this. And this is ideally the last card that we play. Does Alchemist work on Knickers? Because Knickers does have immunity. I am not certain about that. Okay. So we're hoping that's the last card we need to play. So the big question here is, do they catch us? They do not. So they'll give us the round 1 win. Alright. We'll take it. Knickers, I swear, if you eat something right now, thank you. Do not eat something right now. We don't need it. Knickers has resilience? I did not remember that. We have not had many times when the Knickers timing has been ideal, but that actually works quite well. Okay, so we did draw additional cards, I'm pretty certain. We should have 9 now, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, okay. So, we still have 2 redraws. What did we gain? We got another Alchemist. We got another Lyrian, or a new Lyrian Scytheman. Not a huge fan of either of them, to be brutally honest. I think normally what I would like to do, so I'd like to, I didn't even see, there's all the Nilfgaardian soldiers just hanging out over there. Normally what you'd like to do is, after your opponent has played one more card than you, wait, did they play one more card than us, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, no, okay, we won on even. Okay, so yeah, we're definitely going to play at least a few cards here. We go with throwaway cards is the question, and save all our big stuff for round 3? Or do we push hard here in round 2? Usually I am a fan of saving the big stuff for round 3, and seeing if we can have our opponents overcommit in this round, in which case using the Scytheman as a throwaway might not be a bad idea. What would our other throwaway be? Maybe one of these Alchemists? That might be the plan. And save our redraws for round 3, and just see if our natural redraws that we get when we start a new round, if those are just going to be better than these 2 cards anyway, and we won't even need to be as reliant on these redraws. So, yeah, I think we do stick with this. Resilience? Permanent resilience. I was going to say, resilience in multiplayer only carries over for 1 additional round, but permanent resilience means Knickers is staying here even in round 3. Is that also the case? Except for Storms, it is. You lose charges in between rounds? One round ends, set charges to 0. Yeah, that is a little unfortunate. But I think we go as I think we go with the Scytheman here as a throwaway. Once again, I do not want Knickers to eat anything right now. I would like to save our big cards for round 3. And actually, taking additional damage is not a bad thing, because that will make Isbel stronger. Right now, her boost is 7. My biggest concern about Isbel is just, with 3 power, their leader ability... I didn't realize it was damaged by the number of allied units. Okay, so that is potentially more, well more than the amount of damage that they need to take Isbel out, unless we play her really early when they don't have a lot of units. But here's what we'd love to do, is we're still in the lead here. They're on 8 cards. Yeah, we do more than. We do need to play a little bit more. I guess we might as well use Scepter of Storms every round, at least at the end of every round, if it's going to get its charges reset. So I think we are just playing 1 more card here, in which case we were saying the Alchemist is probably our throwaway. It doesn't really have a way to do anything here. So, I mean, like, there's the potential to chain the Isbel boost, or we'll get a huge Isbel boost on somebody, and then use the Alchemist to duplicate that number of boosts, but because Isbel is randomized, who she boosts, it's going to be hard to, like, ideally in this case, it would actually be that we do get all those boosts on 1 card, play a really weak card next to that highly boosted card, use the Alchemist to get that tiny little card boosted up to the same amount as the really highly boosted card, and then repeat that process again. But that may not be all that feasible. Again, I mean, that is entirely relying upon Isbel staying on the board long enough to actually get this order off, which may be far easier said than done. So I think for that reason, let's not go all in on that strat. When you use the Alchemist, it doesn't have a way to do anything. We might as well use Scepter of Storms. Is it 2 damage? It is 2 damage per charge. Why did I just assume this was 1 damage per charge? This is really good. We can use a leader ability. It's not enough to get rid of it, but I mean, it would mean our leader ability will be on cooldown in round 3, which is a little unfortunate, but the reason why this might be worth doing is because it does give the Scytheman a boost. It does give us an 8 or 17 point lead here, and if they do not catch us on this turn, then we will certainly pass.
A highly curious case.
Oh. Well, that's extremely unfortunate. They just undid all the stuff that we just did. So that's fantastic. We do, of course, still have some carryover value from Knickers and from Scepter of Storm. So even if we lose this round 2, which I'm thinking we're probably going to pass here and do that, should still be okay. We'll have last say in round 3, which is usually an important factor. And I mean, like, we could try pushing further, but as I was saying, we kind of just used our throwaway cards there. So, yeah, I'm assuming they're going to pass unless they have a real desire to lose this encounter. Okay, so we still have Knickers, we still have Scepter of Storms. That's why, one of the reasons why it should still work pretty well for us here. Ideally, of course, we would have loved to have forced them to play one additional card so we'd actually have card advantage in round 3, which it looked like was going to be the case until they had a card that basically did an Uno reverse on all the progress that what little progress we'd made in round 2. So we do draw into Gascon, and it was another Slinger, I think, which can make Gascon stronger. So Gascon could almost be like a backup plan in case Isbel does not work well for us, is what I'm thinking. Because we'd love to use the Alchemist and Reynard to repeat Isbel's ability, but if she gets destroyed before we get the chance to do that, or we use Isbel once, we're about to use Reynard to restock her order ability, but she gets destroyed before we can do that, then it'd be kind of nice to have a backup plan with Gascon in case we do need someone else to power up the pair with the Alchemist. So, for that reason, it might not be a bad idea to have 2 Slingers. I do like the Bomber, although they have been doing a really good job of splitting their units between 2 rows, so maybe a little bit less effective than we would like that to be. Cavalry, potentially the weakest link here, although if we play it early, that may be our first turn play, in which case it might still be acceptable. I think we stick with this. Only, the best thing would, of course, be if we happen to get Rayla, which is wishful thinking. I mean, we have what? We have 7 cards in our deck. It's not out of the question. And if not Rayla, we'll either get another Cavalry, another Slinger, which wouldn't be the worst thing. Bomber wouldn't be the worst thing. If we got the Scytheman, that would be pretty disappointing. So, alright, we'll take a chance. We will take the chance, and we will succeed. Okay, every turn should start boosted Jason units by 1 if this unit has armor. It does certainly have armor right now. So, let's see. I think we're just, like I said, gonna start with either the Bomber or with, where'd you go? Oh, we got rid of the Cavalry, right. That's why I don't see it. Okay, so if that was going to be our first turn play, then yeah, it almost certainly would be the Bomber here. We do want to play Isbel on the early side, because their leader ability will give them damage capable of potentially taking her out. If we're mindful of when it is and is not on cooldown, we might be able to time it such that they can't immediately get rid of Isbel with that leader ability. That'd be nice. We still want to do it on the early side, though, just so it's not all that powerful. And counter-argument to that is the longer you wait, the stronger it's going to be, because this order ability is gaining power over time. So I think we can still afford to go with the Bomber first, since they only have 1 unit on the board, so this leader ability at the moment is only worth 1 point. So let's go with the Bomber. Do we have reason to... Well, actually, Knickers could potentially turn into our biggest unit if it consumes a card in our hand, which I still probably would rather it not do. But that means Alchemist, again, set a unit's power equal to the power on its left. So let's play Bomber to the right of Knickers. That way, if Knickers does eat something, we can make the Bomber the same amount of points as Knickers. And more Enforcers. There is their leader ability. So it does make Isbel stronger, and it does mean Isbel, at least for the moment, is safe. They have a little bit of time before they can use this again, so we're really feeling like we're willing to risk it, then we could wait 1 more turn before playing her and see if they have any more damage to power up Isbel. But it does get a little bit risky if we go that route. Otherwise, what would we do? It's gonna be Isabel, it's gonna be Xavier, it's gonna... So many things that are relying on Isabel. Xavier, Reynard. Rayla is not. Hold on. What is Rayla gonna get? Maybe another bomber for their range row if needed. Otherwise, could be a slinger if it's relatively late in the round and there isn't a lot of time for the cavalry to do its thing. That would, of course, also power up Gascon, so that's not a bad idea. That's probably what's going to end up being. Okay. So... we have so many things that are based on Isabel that we do need to play her early for that reason as well, unless we want to go with an aggressive Alzur's Thunder, which still doesn't quite have enough damage to single-handedly take out either of these guys. They are about to start dishing out some boosts, though. It's a little bit annoying. I think we do go with Isabel. Either that or... Well... Sector of Storms at this stage is what? 4 damage? Which is just enough to take you out with an Alzur's Thunder. It means we get the adjacent damage to you, but nothing on the other side. It may still be worth doing that just to shut down these engines. I think we might actually go ahead. Oh. Yeah, I guess that works too. I guess you were both tied for 6 power. This is true. So we want to hit you. Take you out. And not quite enough damage by itself to get rid of the armor on that Enforcers, but it's very close and the fire might finish the job for us. And there's more of those Enforcers. I expected that might be the case. So now we do probably need to go with Isabel because otherwise they're going to be, well, unless we wait a really long time, because their leader ability is going to be back in 2 turns. So we either do it now, or we actually want to wait for them to do it again. And then just buy as much time as possible. Isabel will get a little bit stronger. We'll have time in between their next leader ability. We don't know if they have other damaging units. We're hoping that they don't. Question would become, what other cards are we willing to play at this stage? I guess Rayla, it's not that time sensitive. I mean, we could use her to get, if we do her this early, to get a Stray's Cavalry rather than a Stray Slinger. I don't really want to move cards out of this flaming row right now. Obviously, that would reduce our total amount of damage. Although, actually, I have an idea. Yeah, let's go Rayla. Let's go with Rayla.
Oh, so then, no other way.
So she's going to take a turn before she can use her order ability anyway. And we might as well do this and see if we can get rid of the armor on that Enforcers. Again, they're tied for 6 power, so we don't know which ones to hit. Okay, it is good that it hit you. That means you're not going to dish out any boosts here. We will get boosted by this guy. Okay, draw a card. Discard all copies of this card from your... Wait, what? Draw a copy of this unit. Discard all copies of this unit from your hand and deck. That's weird. Okay. Okay, so on their next turn, they're using their leader ability for damage. And it's going to be a little more significant, the amount of damage they have that time. So... oh, we do have our leader ability, for what it's worth. In fact, we probably want to lead with that. And what I'm thinking is we go here. Hit you guys. Then we go with a Stray's Slinger. Split you a little bit between the rows.
Bigger they are, easier they are to tackle.
Then we use Rayla. Play another Slinger. That way we can have these guys back in the melee row where there's fire. I mean, this one and this one are both going to get destroyed. But go for this.
Slings, they hide well.
Okay. Oh, not entirely sure why that happened. Oh, Death Wish. Discard all copies of this unit from your hand and deck. I totally blanked out on the Death Wish part, but Yeah, I'm pretty sure we just got rid of several cards from their hand, so they are in serious trouble now. Here's their order, or about to be their order ability. Fortunately, we did not have anything damaged, so they actually could not benefit at all from that medic. Now they just used their order ability, their leader ability there. So now this is when we go with Isbel. And she's now up to 15. Is nice. So we are just really hoping
When will you ever learn?
that they do not have units or special cards that deal damage. Because we know their leader ability is on cooldown, but we very much want to have Xavier and then Reynard to give her more charges and just go absolutely bonkers with all the boosts here. Can she boost herself with this order ability? That would actually be kind of nice so that she's less vulnerable. We could even use Scepter of Storms to get rid of more of their units to weaken their leader ability. Tell you what, it is enough to get rid of the Imperial Enforcers. I think it's worth it. I know they're in the flaming row, but at this stage we do want that leader ability to be weak once it does eventually come out, and it means they don't have anything to heal with these Vicavaro medics, so works well in that sense as well. Okay, so Isbel boosting randomly for 15. Our first time we're ever going to use this order ability, so I am not entirely sure how it works. Does it affect her as well, or at least have the chance of affecting her as well, or will it affect everyone else excluding Isbel? Then I think after that we're probably using Xavier and maybe just immediately using him to give Isbel charges back. I think so.
Get it to work.
Okay, so use her. Yeah, she does boost everyone other than herself, at least it seems, based on what we just saw. So we could either use Xavier to give charges back to Isbel or to Rayla. Isbel's 15 points per order, whereas Rayla is what? If we get another slinger, that's 6. And then move these guys who have armor so they aren't actually going to take damage, but they'll be into the flaming row, which may equate to more damage, but at the very least, they're giving Gascon a couple more points, so it's 8. Guaranteed minimum of 8. Potentially more than that. Still not great. I think it's probably going to have to be Isbel then. So then you do this. And again, ideally we would wait a little bit longer. Technically speaking, we could wait one more turn, see if they have a little more damage before we use Isbel again. But, wait a second. Why did people not get boosted again by that? What? It doesn't stack? Okay. I don't think, unless, did those all go to Xavier? I mean, I wasn't, like, watching it like a hawk. This was definitely on 6 before. Maybe the boosts all went to units that I wasn't looking at, but it certainly looked for a second there like the boosts actually did not stack. If that is the case, that's very good to know, because I thought that Isbel was going to be the best target for Xavier, but if that doesn't stack, then she definitely is not. And we appear to have plenty of margin for error here, so it shouldn't matter this round, in this encounter, but in the future we should definitely try to take a mental note of that, so that's good to know. There was no way of us knowing that in advance. If that is in fact the way that that just played out, we can potentially see once we play Reynard. Which I think we will do now, because otherwise, on their next turn, they'll have their leader ability back, and they would potentially use that to destroy Isbel. Unless we have a way of getting rid of you, or at least one of you altogether. Oh, well, actually, they're out of turns. So yeah, we've already won. So tell you what, let's just test this out. Let's use Reynard and see if we can confirm. Do Isbel's orders stack? So we're on 61 points. If we use Isbel, we are still on 61. It does not stack. That is really weird. There is nothing in this wording that would have led me to believe that was the case. But like I said, definitely a good thing to know this time around when we have 3 cards and basically 40 points, in fact more than 40 points worth of margin for error. But yeah, okay. Good to know. Good to... You guys have immunity? Excuse me. Excuse me. Fine, I'll move my own card that has armor. Because apparently I needed to. That was rude. Okay, so, we don't need to do anything else here. Yes, we have more orders from all these things. We have additional cards. I mean, there might be an achievement for beating an encounter by something like over 100 points. So maybe we keep on pushing here just in case that is something that we have the potential of achieving here. I guess we do stick with that for that reason. They can't take any more turns, so what do we... I want to wait for our leader ability before we use Scepter of Storms. Yeah, I mean, we can use these orders, but we'll wait for that. The Slinger, again, is actually kind of annoying because we can't target these guys, and they're in the row that is not currently on fire. We could use Rayla to get another one of the Strays Bombers, but that's just kind of too little too late at this point. It's still 6-point body. Better than a Lyrian Scytheman getting boosted by 5 when we use our leader ability on our next turn. Kind of hard to say. I think we actually don't want to go with the Slinger now because we'd like to keep this on 8 power so that our leader ability hits all these guys on our next turn. So yeah, let's go Gascon, who will be the card that we're going to want to use to boost people when we play Alchemist. That means we're going to want Gascon to the left of our weakest card, which would be this bomber. Let's play you there.
Coin never stinks, no matter how rank the pouch.
And apparently we got an achievement there. I feel like I saw this one on the Steam page for playing a high number of main characters. So what we had, Isbel is 1, Xavier 2, Reynard 3, Rayla 4, Gascon 5. I don't know if Knickers counts as 6. I feel like the number might have been 6. Did we play anyone notable in round 1? I don't think the bear counts. But anyways, let's see. So, I mean, what else would we do with Rayla? Just get a Scytheman down here? I mean, we'll do that on our next turn, I guess. See if we can get another achievement here. Of course, it turned out, yes, it was noteworthy to keep on playing a little bit more. So what I was saying was that we wanted to have these guys all on 8 power, because although we can't target these Vicavar medics directly, we can go after the Venedal Elite. And since those guys are all in the same amount of power, that also should have hit. I know it can't manually... I know we weren't able to manually target them, but that is factually incorrect based on the card descriptions. Okay, we're learning things here. Isbel, again, unintuitive there. That one's just outright wrong. They should have been hit by that ability. Fortunately, again, it doesn't matter here, but that one, I am 100% certain based on what the description read as there. So, I mean, I guess we'll play the Slinger here. Again, we're trying to still do what we can to maximize our score relative to our opponent's score. That's the plan, at least, and see if... I thought there might have been an achievement for that. Oh, also, I meant to use Rayla to get the Scytheman before we used our leader ability, so that's no longer an option. Yeah, so now none of these are particularly good. All of them would have required some additional time. So, in that case, let's use Rayla, and we will not choose you. You're worth 6 points. You're potentially worth the most. Obviously, it would have been best to have done that earlier if we had realized that we were not going to go with the Scytheman. Might have still been better to go Bomber anyway. Oh, we didn't. We thought we were going to hit all of them with our leader ability. That's why we did it before. Okay. So there's that. And then... Oh, no, it is our last turn here. So no, the fire is not going to do anything. But Alchemist. Alchemist is going to boost this Strays Bomber.
Greetings.
Make sure we get the wording right. Set a unit's power equal to the unit on its left. Like this. There we go. We got it correct. Thankfully. Then we use Scepter of Storms. Again, technically speaking, the way immune works, in multiplayer at least, would be such that this Sector of Storms is supposed to hit this Venendal Elite. It would destroy it with a few charges, and then the remaining charges would carry over to one of the medics, because although they have immune, we are not manually targeting it. We are manually targeting this, and then the carryover, or the remaining component of the ability, would, theoretically, continue to deal damage to the medic. But based on what we just saw with our leader ability, I am now suddenly quite skeptical that that will be the case. And again, it is very useful to know that, because if we do encounter future opponents with immune units, which I imagine we likely will, that is something we want to bear in mind. That could be a different thinker. It does work that time. Again, for reasons unknown to me that time, it does do what it was supposed to do, but it did not with our leader ability. I can't explain it, but we will succeed. We did win by over 100 points. I did not see any achievements pop up. I thought there might have been one for winning by over 100 points. Maybe we've already got it, or maybe I'm just misremembering it. Okay, so no specific information. It doesn't seem... Oh, outside of this, I was going to say, no, like, dialogue after that. So, from Sergeant Moir Gulf, can you please add more vowels to your name? To Duke Ardel Ayap Dahi, Grand Chancellor, that is the person that we were trash-talking a bit with a little while ago, Commander of Army Group East. Your Excellency, your orders have been fulfilled. We requisitioned over 30 head of cattle from the local population, slaughtered them, and left them under the sun. So you're just sabotaging them. You're not even using the cattle, you're just killing them for the sake of sabotaging the local economy, basically. Once the carcasses have reached the appropriate level of rot, oh, and you're trying to spread disease, as determined by the medics of Vicavaro, they shall be sent to the front for the artillery division. Yeah, okay, I see what you're on about here. That's pretty gruesome. That's pretty cruel. Of course, few resources here as well, though not a ton. Nothing in the well, is there? No? Doesn't appear so. Okay, well, with that, I think that's a good place for us to wrap up here. We are, of course, edging closer and closer toward the end of Edirn as we are in this last area, so not long now, until perhaps we'll be moving on to the next area. But thank you all for watching, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you next time.